So there's no shortage of talent on AEW TV. That said, there's no shame in looking at the menu, right? There are a number of talented folks in the Fed that I personally would like to see better used in AEW. Chief amongst them, like one example, is Ricochet. Someone who was floundering in WWE now is technically a champion in AEW. His role personified, somehow becoming a heel, and that's just a heel, a very good one at that, leading his own faction in the Demand. So, quick disclaimer though, I'm also including names that are somewhat possible. There will be no Tyler Black or Randall Keith Orton. I think it's safe to call them WWE lifers, even though I know for a damn fact that Tony Khan would have booked a better retirement tour for Big Match John. But let's dive into my personal AEW wish list. Number one, Ilya Dragunov. So he just lost the US title, but even then, I think someone forgot to tell Dragunov that wrestling is a work, because the man is insane. He has an insane workout regimen, but is also said to be one of the stiffest wrestlers on the goddamn planet. Like, no joke. It is an active joke in the IWC. No one wants to answer his US Open challenge because of how much it hurts to wrestle him. He brings an intensity that's very hard to replicate, and the thought of him mixing it up with the likes of Eddie Kingston or Jon Moxley is too tantalizing to not consider. Imagine if he competed, imagine if the company got behind him and made him the Unified Champion. Imagine him defending it in the C2. I need to see those matches. AJ Styles. So the Phenomenal One has stated in multiple interviews that he intends on retiring this year and ending his career in WWE and becoming a producer or a coach. But like, what if? What if he comes over to AEW and has a few dream matches with, let's say, Okada, Omega, Swerve, Orange Cassidy? And I mean, AJ versus Ospreay in AJ's retirement match? Like, Styles, if you give Tony Khan 1 year to book you, you'll see how phenomenal things can get. So Pete Dunne was the best UK champion, and I'll fight anyone that argues that fact. Yes, I understand Walter, but nonetheless, Pete Dunne was my favorite UK champion. It would be easy to list the number of dream matches for Pete Dunne, but instead I'd like to quote a recent interview from Swerve Strickland on Chris Van Vliet, the podcast. To sum it up, Swerve said he feels like a large part of the star's success depends on how much the boss believes in them. Right, at only 32 years old, Pete Dunne should be a multi-time world champion right now. At the very least, he should have had the Intercontinental Championship a number of times and defended it. But he's been hamstrung as a third banana, and in the world of AEW, your size doesn't limit you. It just makes the possible matches that you can have that much more interesting. Pete Dunne would be a dream match machine, almost as much as Chad Gable. How do you fuck up the second coming of Kurt Angle? Both men are gold in the comedy department, and they can play their parts to perfection, but more importantly, they can both be devils in the ring. Both men stand out with an outstanding amateur background. Both men can go on the mic. Once again, I'd argue that the size bug is a problem for Gable in the Land of the Giants, but if you put him in AEW, we could finally see the second coming of the wrestling compliance. No, wait. Machine is better. I thought that one was clever. I'm keeping that take in. So at this point, it might be more of an inevitability. The hugger of WWE might just be AEW bound and set to join her best friend, Mercedes Moné, which, if Bayley's contract is up this year, Moné has started losing her championships, which may be perfect. Maybe her unraveling brings in Rose Martinez, aka Bayley. These two might actually be the most legitimate best friends in all of wrestling, but Bayley isn't just leaving for friendship, but also this constant disrespect from management. She was the only member of the Four Horsemen to have never main evented WrestleMania, even when she actually won the Rumble. It always felt like she was an afterthought, but I think the story of Rose Martinez in AEW can work. Imagine Moné that has lost all the championships and all her confidence, but then her best friend comes to AEW to help her regain that confidence, first by becoming the Women's Tag Team Champions. Tony, show them how it's done. But also with Moné finally winning the AEW Women's World title, only for Rose to attack her afterwards so we can get the roles reversed one more time, but this time with the leashes off. We've already seen how masterful AEW can book a women's program. Again, look at Mariah May and Toni Storm. Now imagine that, but with Mercedes Moné and Rose Martinez. That's a rivalry. That said, those are just like 5 wrestlers on my wish list to go to AEW at some point this year, or maybe the year after that. I don't know. That said, who do you want to see go from WWE to AEW? And whose stock do you want to see rise? Let us know down below. Really appreciate it. And we'll catch you all next time. See everybody.